Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. It's already Friday. It's amazing how fast this week is gone. The weeks are just flying together. Obviously, if anybody watched my earlier video, you saw that I misspoke and said February, and I obviously know it's not February, so that was pretty funny. But anyway, before we get started on the video, I want to just remind everybody if we have any kind of technical issues, that I will get right back on as soon as I possibly can. So please be patient, and if there's an interruption, I will get right back on as soon as I can. Okay? So just putting that out there ahead of time. Again, so we're going to talk about today how safe are things. Okay? So we're going to get into that here in a little bit. We're going to talk about a little bit further with the whole schooling thing with my daughter going back to school. I kind of let you guys have her take on things and what they are doing with the school and stuff like that. We can go over that a little bit more for those that didn't see the earlier video. But, and she's going to join us in probably about a half an hour. She's going to join us for a little bit, and she's going to answer some questions and stuff like that too. So, but I want to remind everybody before we really get going that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. So I would ask everybody to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness, nothing like that, please. And if you do, those awesome people in blue that you see in here will boot you out of here. They're not going to tolerate it. Okay, so just be decent, and that's all that I ask. If you do that, then we have no issues. So sure, we'll get the boot. Yeah, Prepper Chris one said, yeah, it's just not necessary. I was watching. Before we get into talking about this stuff, I was watching a YouTuber today. Never saw his channel before, and one of my subscribers contacted me and asked me if I would reach out to him. He seemed, he was taking the criticism that you received because you're on YouTube. He was taking it to heart, and it was really eating him up. And she said, he seemed really depressed, and he seemed like he was having some issues with it. So I did reach out to him, and I don't know if he'll get back to me or not. I'm sure, he's he's probably busy as well, but we'll see what happens. But I would like to just sit down, talk to him, go over some stuff, and let him know that, the biggest thing that I would say to anybody, any of you guys out there, I know a lot of you guys got channels going and you got channels starting to get a little bit bigger and stuff like that. The biggest thing that advice that I would give a new YouTuber when dealing with, and the term is trolls, right? You can't take it personal. You really can't. Even though they get very, very personal, you can't take it personal, because the way that yeah, we're going to get into that, the all-seeing cat, how safe are things. We're going to get into that. But I just wanted to, talk about this for a moment. To any of you guys, like I said, I know a lot of you are starting channels, and, and I've promoted a few of the channels on here as well. But you really can't take these things personal, because these are the type of people that will never, ever say to your face. They would never come up to you and say it to your face, because they're cowards. So they sit in their mom's basement, and, they do their thing, and they harass people, and they think it's funny or whatever. Their lives are so miserable, they want everybody else to be miserable. And it's very, very sad, to be honest with you. So, but I just wanted to put that out there for all you guys that got channels going. They always say you're not a successful YouTuber until you have haters. So, and I have plenty, but like I said, they make absolutely no difference in my life at all, because I have so many wonderful people that follow my channel. And that's what you really, as a YouTuber, I would definitely encourage people, focus on the positive, not the negative. Because that negativity, negativity breeds negativity. So if you stay positive and you have a more positive outlook, positivity comes back to you. Once you start resonating in that negativity, it can really bring you down if you let it. So that would be the one. And I'm going to tell you, and I'll be honest, 100% honest. When I first started getting hate on my channel, I was like, I really took it personally, and I was like, why are they acting like that? It didn't make any kind of sense. But once you realize the mindset, it makes it so much more simple to understand. And, so you just have to Roll it off your back. That's all. So, okay, so let's get into topic. I apologize. I will always get off a track, but it was something that, one of my subscribers had asked me to reach out to this young man because, she was concerned. And so I definitely did. And so we'll see what happens. And when I say young man, I think he might be like 23, if I had to guess. But anyway, is it safe? Are things safe? So one of the things I wanted to talk about was safety. Okay, so as you guys know, if anybody watched the earlier video today, my daughter will be going back to college. She moves back into the dorms on the 16th of August. And I absolutely have my concerns. I have a lot of trepidation with it. If it was my decision, I'll be honest with you, she wouldn't be going back to college right now. Okay, because I don't think it's safe. They're taking steps, but again, they can't guarantee safety. They just can't. Hey, Troy, thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. But they can't keep these kids safe. Okay, there's just no way that they're going to be able to, because the kids are not going to social distance away from each other. They're just not going to do it. They're going to interact with each other. They still have to go to class. Like Heather said, half of her class are online and half of her classes are in person. Well, even when you're in person, you're walking to go to places. They're going to have these kids wearing masks and stuff all the time. And I just, I don't like the whole thing. I don't like the whole thing, to be honest with you. I would rather have her stay home. But unfortunately, and I shouldn't say it unfortunately. She's an adult. Okay. My daughter's 18 years old. She'll be 19 this year. She's old enough to make her own decision as an informed adult. And so, she definitely has had her concerned. One of the things that she had said was that she wished they were more forthright about what their plan is instead of being evasive about a lot of things. Like she is not allowed this year to bring her own refrigerator on campus. Okay. So, it's, Heather's not a partier, dude. He says, yes, but colleges have parties and those will spawn more cases. And they will. Yes, they will. Those college kids will still have parties and do their thing. Heather's not in that crowd. She didn't do any of the frat stuff last year, and she has no intention of doing it again this year. Heather's very focused on what she wants, which is a good thing. Somebody had asked in the comment earlier, will she have a roommate? Yeah, she'll have one. Now, last year, she was in a room. It was a 4-man room. So she had 3 other roommates beside herself. What they're doing this year in those 4-man rooms, they're only putting 2 people in there. So they're not having as many people in those rooms this year as they did last year. Again, that may help, but that's not going to stop it from happening. And what happens if some of these kids start getting sick? That's just, it's a very, very tough situation. I have to let her live her life as her father. I have to. I'm not going to hold her back. If we live in fear, I don't think that that's a positive thing. So, we're going to have to see how things develop. Part of the function of college is to develop social connections. Absolutely. And that's the thing too, networking, meeting new people, meeting like-minded people. Somebody can help you out later in your career or anything like that too, but again, we're going to have to see how it goes. But, with the case numbers in different states continuing to rise. And again, there's always 2 sides of the thing to play. Okay. You hear reports of people. I heard the one report, and I don't know how true it was. I don't know if it was true or not. Somebody was killed in a motorcycle accident, and they marked their death as COVID. Now, I don't know if that was true or not, or if that's, somebody spreading more false information. So if I can't verify it, I'm not going to say, yes, this is true. Okay. But the one thing I can definitely verify that is true, that, they had came out and said there was like 80,000 cases that they had said that were positive that were not positive. So again, now think about the effect that snowball effect of that in this time and age with everything going on. People being, told to self-isolate, and now you've got to contact trace everybody that they came in contact with. And you have to, it's a big old mess, a big, big mess. And so, and then to find out, Um, it was on several news stations. Lovely Lucy just said that. Okay, well, if that, but that, again, just because it was on a news station don't necessarily mean it's true. Just remember that. The news media and the truth are not always the best friends. Okay, let's remember that. Okay, so, yeah, is the common cold extinct? Exactly. That's the thing is too. Kids are going to get sick. It's going to happen. You know, I'm going to tell you what I'm really, truly, truly grateful for. I'm glad I don't have. Now, my neighbor is a good example. Her son starts kindergarten this year. I am so glad I don't have to deal with that because I don't believe that if I had children that were at that age, I would not send them. I would homeschool them. That would be me personally. Okay. Now, Heather being an adult, obviously she's going to make her own decision. But and that's with obviously I put my input in, and we've talked a lot, obviously, and like I said, she's not a partier. She's not looking out. I mean, she even talked about possibly going out and getting a part-time job, and I said to her, I said, I would rather you didn't right now. Let's see how things go over the next 6 months or so, and then we'll go from there. I said, I don't really want you out in that public. I don't. I don't think that it's safe. I really don't. But again, is it safe for us to be sending our kindergartners, first graders, second graders, those kids back to school? I don't think so. I really don't. Because again, when we talked about this before, and there's been teachers that have piped up as well about this, there's no way you're going to stop children, young children, from interacting with each other. They're going to run up and they're going to hug their friend and they're going to be happy to see their friend. They're little germ factories and they touch everything and their fingers and their mouths all the time. And again, what are you going to do? You're going to make these kids wear masks all the time? Are you going to put them in cubicles? I don't think that that's healthy. I really don't. Especially the young ones. You're going to psychologically, in my opinion, you're going to psychologically damage them if you do that. To teach them that it's bad to show affection, it's bad to touch people. You need to be in this little cubicle. I don't think that is healthy at all. I really, truly don't. Okay. Now, and again, I don't believe that it's going to be safe to be sending your kids back to school. Again, my opinion. Again, with my daughter being an adult, like I said, if I had my say so, she would not be going, and I'll put that out there. But because she's an adult, I'm going to let her make that decision, and hope that she makes the right choices being at school. And I'm pretty sure she will. Especially with everything that's going on. Hopefully, she makes those right decisions. Like I said, she's definitely not a partier. What about the people charged with the 19 COVID that never been tested? Yeah, I saw that too, Tony Blackburn. I saw that in the news as well. And again, I don't know if it's true or not. So what he's talking about is people were like in line waiting to get tested for COVID. They had signed up to be tested. The line was too long and they left and then they went home. Okay. And what happened was they got a call a few days later that they tested positive when they never took the test at all. Now, is that true or not true? I don't know. Again, you got to understand there's a lot of different agendas going on out there. A lot of people are spreading, again, false information. So when you see stuff like that, I don't know if that's true or not. Okay. How do you verify that? How do you verify that? I mean, so I'm homeschooling my granddaughter this year. She is in the second grade. Terry Miller just said that. Good for you, Terry. I think it's a great thing. Let's see. Hold on a second. There's another comment here I wanted to read real quick, guys. This is from K. Anna B. My sister died last month from kidney failure. They tested her 4 times for CV. All were negative. Her death certificate lists cause of death as complications from pneumonia. Well, that's weird. Yeah, well, that's bizarre. But yeah, and if she was in kidney failure, obviously kidney failure would have been the cause of death. Thank you for sharing that information with us. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of, I hear that, the hospitals get more money if it's a COVID death and all this type of stuff. And again, I don't know if that is true or not. I know okay. So one thing I do know, if you're in a hospital, if I have to put you on a ventilator, that's absolutely more money for the hospital because they can charge the insurance companies more money because it's more invasive. That is absolutely 100% true. Okay, I'm going to give you a great example of something, and this one made me sick, and I was really pissed. Okay, so my grandmother was dying of cancer, and she had bladder cancer. All right, and so they were like, well, we need to go in and we need to do the surgery. Now she's 83 at that point. And I had said to my aunt, who was the one that was in charge of my grandmother, she was the power of attorney and had all those decision-making things. I said, Aunt Karen, I go, please don't let him do that. And she goes, well, we're going to let him do it. Well, they opened her up, and guess what? The cancer was everywhere. I think they already knew the cancer was everywhere, but because they were able to do that surgery, they were able to charge my grandmother's insurance more. So it's always, guys, at the end of the day, everything comes down to the bottom line is about money. So, the hospitals want to make more money and stuff like that. And again, they're not like sharing that wealth with staff. I can guarantee you they're not sharing that wealth with staff. But again, it's like unnecessary treatments are being done. Unnecessary. I think some of these people were unnecessarily vented when they probably shouldn't have been vented. There's been a lot of talk that venting them actually does more damage than it does good. Again, there's this plethora of information out there. So it's hard to believe what is true and what is not true. I mean, I keep seeing the things pop up that, the death rate is only this. Well, if you just go by, and let's just do this. Let's make it real simple. Let's go with New York State, right? I think we're still leading the way. California is trying to catch us in number of COVID cases, but we are still leading the way the last I looked in New York State. Now, the number of people that have died in New York State, the number of people that have recovered, the number of people that have had the virus, positive tested for the virus. And again, how many of those tests were false positives? We're not even going to talk about that. The death rate in New York State is 7.84%. 7.84%. It's not 0.003% like all these things you see coming up and popping up. The death rate is much, much higher than that. I personally believe, and again, now I'm going to give you my opinion, okay? And I'm always going to try to differentiate. If I'm giving you opinion or fact or rumor, I'm never going to say, well, this was said, so it must be true. I'm not going to do that, okay? In my opinion, I think this virus is much more deadly than they have said that it is. I think there's a lot of false information being put out there. And yes, also I do believe it is being used to try to influence the presidential run. I absolutely do. And it's always going to be like that. One side's going to blame the other side. This side blames that side. And that's never going to go away. That's always going to be there. Okay. Guys, we got 942 in the chat, and we're at 286 on the thumbs up. I'm going to ask for a thumbs up, please, to show support for the channel. If you would do that, that would be great. And thank you ahead of time. Again, it really does help with the algorithms. So I do appreciate that you would do that. And thank you. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do make sure you do subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to all notifications so you get those as well. I had somebody email me today, and this is just to kind of give you an idea what YouTube likes to do. Tony Blackmoon says, how do we know that the test kits are not infected with COVID or something worse? Great statement, Tony. And I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. My daughter has to get a test. So here's another question. So you're testing for COVID, and if it's so contagious coming out of our mouths that we have to wear a mask, why are they sticking this thing up your nose to the back of your there to do the test? Why don't they do a mouth swab? Again, I don't trust. I don't trust the government. Never have, never will. They have their own agenda, and it's not the agenda to take care of the people. That's not their agenda. So that is a great question, Tony. I appreciate you asking that, and you're 100% right. I don't like it. And unfortunately, to go back to school, my daughter has to be tested. And again, that's going to be her decision. But again, I don't like it. And if I had my choice, it would not happen. So, because my thing is this. Let's say she gets the test. She hasn't been around anybody. Not really. A couple of friends. That's it. Okay. Family. Nobody's sick. She's not sick. I'm not sick. What if that test comes back positive? Now who does it affect? It absolutely affects me, They're going to tell me that I have to self-quarantine for whatever number of days and stuff like that as well. She would have to quarantine. It'd be a big old mess, So, and who pays for that? Well, it's insurance, of course. Insurance pays. The insurance pays, which obviously at the end of the day means we pay. So, that's how it works. That's absolutely how it works. And yeah, there's a lot of rumors out there. Lady, let's see, Keisha17 just said that. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors out there. And again, that's the most frustrating thing with everything that's going on. It's hard to believe what's real, what's not real. And I'm going to tell you what, people will grab onto something, okay, like this whole, it only kills, 0.003% of the people. That's not true. That's absolutely not true, okay? So, again, people will grab onto that and they plaster it all over Facebook and everywhere else. Again, I personally believe, especially when the fall kicks back around again, let's say we get into late September, October, when normal flu season kicks up, is this thing going to come back? Is it going to rear its ugly head? I heard through one of the things, like, it wasn't Fauci, but it was somebody else, like one of those type of CDC guys or something like that. They had said that it's already mutated like 30 times. 30 times. Now, is it getting weaker? Is it getting stronger? What's happening? How's it going to come back in the fall? And is it going to be worse? I mean, that's my concern. Again, that's why there is a test that doesn't use the nose swab. I heard there was, but forgot the details. Betsy Barnacle, I think that's how you say that, just said that. Okay, well, I'm going to have to see. Well, I don't know what they have here. Joyfer, yes, the second wave is planned. It's all planned. I almost guarantee there's going to be a second wave. I mean, what we're experiencing right now is not a second wave. That's not the second wave. What's happening in all the different states right now, it's a continuation of them not taking care of things when they should have taken care of things, and then all of a sudden you're having that uptick when they open things back up again. And people have been cooped up for months. You have to understand something too, and I want you guys to think about this. Not so much for you guys in the South, but this is for the people that live in the North. Up here in the North in the wintertime, it just absolutely sucks weather-wise. It's very gloomy. We don't see a whole lot of sunshine. It's overcast a lot. We have snow, and we just deal in cold temperatures, and it's not very pleasant. Okay, when we get a sunny day, we're like, oh my God, there's the sun. It's like a big joke. But again, with that, you had all these people, and now everybody's cooped up. And then finally, we were able to get outside. The weather started getting nicer. Of course, people want to get out. They want to enjoy that. They don't want to be cooped up. I mean, I'm very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. Like I said, I love to ride motorcycle. So for me, I'm going to tell you what, I have ridden more this year already than I rode the last 2 years combined. I'm going to tell you that right now, because it's a way for me to get out of the house, to get out, still social distance. I'm not getting around anybody, and just get on that bike and just go for a nice ride. Heather and I have gone so many times. I went out today for a little while. I had some things that I had to do, and I took the bike. But, it's, for me, that's a nice distressor. It's very relaxing to me to ride. I really, truly enjoy it. But, yeah, I have, I've rode more this year than any other year. Harborfest was supposed to be this weekend in Oswego. They canceled it, Lori? I'm pretty sure they probably canceled it already. Well, they already canceled the state fair already. So there's another thing to think about, okay? What are one of the things, like New York State, what are one of the things that we do up here in the summertime that people do to relax? You have the Jazz Festival. You have, in May, they always do the Lilac Festival up here. We have the Balloon Festival up here. We have, lots of bands and concerts and outdoor concerts. None of that's happening. None of those things are happening. So people are having to try to find other ways to, entertain themselves. When is Heather getting her bike? RV Source, she will be getting a bike. Absolutely, she will be getting a bike. We're still waiting for the DMVs to open back up so that she can actually go in and get her permit. She has her, she doesn't have her permit for the motorcycle. So she doesn't even have that yet. So there's no sense even getting her a bike until she can get a permit so that she can ride. But I'm going to start her out on something really, really small, something real small. So let's see. The U.S. Grand Prix was canceled today. Yeah, well, and it's like now, okay, so baseball started yesterday, and yes, the Yankees won. But, with that, there's no crowds. There's nobody in the stands. So they're playing these baseball games with nobody in the stands. It's kind of surreal, to be honest with you. We have obviously American traditions, and we like to be out. We're very social people. We enjoy being out doing different things, and but again, with everything that is going on right now, this is what I believe, okay? I do believe the virus is real. I don't think that this is fake, and a lot of people are calling it the pandemic and all this other stuff. I do believe it's real. How bad it is, I don't know, okay? But I'm a big believer in erring on the side of caution. So, hey, Pollux, are you getting rain gutters with rain barrels for your buildings? The surface area for your roofs, you'll get more water than the barrels alone. Yeah, I actually, like I said, I have a 550-gallon water barrel that I use out here off the house. Okay, so I already have that one. I probably will end up putting something, especially on the battery room, because it would be a great resource to have right there next to the garden. So, yeah, I do plan on doing something like that. I'll actually get more water off the woodshed if I do that. Get your medical records. I worked in the medical field, found numerous errors on my records, was prescribed morphine. I'm allergic. I could have died. Wow. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the thing is if you're going, Nikki Johnson just said that. Thank you for that information, Nikki, and thank you for that suggestion. You got to make sure your medical records are up to date and they know what's going on. I can give you another example of something like that happened. So Eddie was in, I don't know, maybe third grade. And so, and every year he had a different bus monitor and he would have a different one-on-one aide. So this particular year we had a brand new bus driver, brand new one-on-one aide. And so, obviously the first day of school, we're out there, we're ready to get him on the bus and stuff like that. And so they started saying, oh, yeah, and I said to them, I said, listen, the best thing that you can do with my son is engage him. I said, he loves space, and talk to him about that. And they were like, oh, well, we were told that he's nonverbal. I'm like, what? So they had it in their records that my son was nonverbal and couldn't communicate, which was the farthest thing from the truth. He had a speech delay impediment for a while where certain words he had a hard time getting those words out. But he's obviously well past that now. But that's the type of stuff, that misinformation in your records. Definitely, that's very good advice to get your records and make sure everything is up to date. And if you are allergic to something, make sure that that's on there, that they know that. Do you use your ham radio for emergency communications? Well, obviously, at this point right now, I have not used that. I'm not going to communicate on my ham radio at this point because I don't have a ham radio operator's license. But I could get on there and listen if I wanted to and stuff like that. In an SHTF event, absolutely, anybody and everybody. If you have a ham radio, I would suggest you have to be careful with that too, because you don't want people to pinpoint your location and know exactly where you are. My advice to anybody in a post-event, real quickly, if you have a ham radio, do more listening. Pay attention to what's going on. Do that. Don't get on there and talk, because you're going to draw people to you with doing that. Just listen. Find out what's going on. And then you're going to really know if it's safe to go on there and talk. So that's just some advice from me. I hope, that you listen to that. But it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if he was nonverbal. You should still talk with him. Well, yeah, absolutely. But what I was saying is he wasn't nonverbal. And they had that misinformation in there. So, that's something you really need to think about, especially when I'm telling you right now, if your children are any way in the system, any way at all, uh, please make sure you advocate for your children, because you know what? Realistically, they don't care. They don't. I dealt with it with Eddie. They didn't know how to deal with them. They didn't know. They didn't have the right things in place. They didn't have the people weren't properly trained. And here's another one too. Okay. Yeah, I know. I haven't heard from Asif either. Yeah, I don't. I hope he's okay. He wasn't in the last stream. He's been sending me texts, so he must be okay. He must have something going on. So, and are there channels that you can talk on ham radio? There are channels you can talk on without a license. Yeah, I know that there actually are, but like I said, again, for me, at this point, I'm not trying to put up that flag out there saying, "Oh, this place has a ham radio." If that makes sense, you don't really want to draw that attention to yourself. Again, yes, I put myself out here on YouTube, okay, but locally, I keep a pretty low profile. I mind my own business. Oh, Asim's here. Okay, yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, because like I said, he sends me texts pretty much every day. I get a text from him every day. Gives me a lot of updates of what's going on as far as weather and earthquakes and stuff like that. So yeah, I get a lot of that information. But again, like I said, it's like keeping a low profile if you can is a smart thing to do. Now, like I said, again, I know I put myself out here on YouTube. The people that don't like me know where I am. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. But, again, you take that with a grain of salt. Again, a lot of those people that don't like you, they'll never show up here. They'll never show up here. First of all, they don't have the stones to do it, number one. And number two, I'm not the one. I'll just put it like that. I'm not the one. So, Crystal Brooks, thanks for all your updates and chats. Appreciate you. We live in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Huge tourist place. It's getting out of hand here. Really scary. I know that in a lot of the southern places right now, that's where things are going nuts. And you would think, remember, summer's coming, everything's going to be fine. It's all going to go away. It's not. And I remember saying I didn't think this was going to go away. I didn't believe that it was going to go away. Because again, why is it not going to go away? Because it is a bioengineered virus, in my opinion. Okay? I believe that it's absolutely been man-made virus that has been put out there. Again, what's the agenda? Okay? And I have a real hard time when people say, oh, this whole thing all over the world is to usher in the New World Order type of stuff. I have a hard time with that because, again, we have so many countries that don't like each other. And it's not just the U.S. and everybody hates the U.S. or, there's all kinds of countries out there that don't get along. To think that they would all of a sudden have this big plot, this big collusion together and say, this is what we're going to do, I'm not buying it. I'm not, But is it to put in more controls? That could be the case. Because I said, again, if you looked what was happening just before this virus went nuts, you had Hong Kong, you had even in China itself, you had France, the United States, up in Canada. I'm trying to think. All over, in the Middle East, there's a lot of people were starting to say, I have had enough. Okay? That's what was going on. People were saying, I've had enough. Hey, Southern Boy Prepper. Hello, Ed. Your garden is amazing. Grains will be impacted with the floods in China. So many things happening, shortages starting again. You know what? And you're 100% right. And, we did talk about that. And thank you very much for the donation as well. Shortages are already happening again. So it's one of the things that I believe that we really need to do. And I've tried to show you guys, I'm doing the same thing that I'm telling you to do. Continue to prep, continue to get ready, get those things in order that you need to have. Prep, like your life depended on it, because it probably does. Okay. The better prepared you are when things go to complete garbage, you're going to be in a lot better shape than most people. And you have to start with helping yourself. You have You have to start with helping yourself. Don't be a victim. That's the biggest thing. Don't be a victim. There's too many people out here that are doing absolutely nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing, even with what is going on. Okay, and you think about Jimmy John. The death rate isn't the dangerous part. The risk comes from the environment or the irreversible long-term damage akin to HIV, causing uh, immersion, lung neurological damage, etc. Yes, yep. You know what? And you're right. If you survive the virus, like you get the virus and you get sick, a lot of people are continuing to have issues with lung, heart, their blood with clotting and stuff like that. There's a lot of continued issues with a lot of people. They just don't recover and then everything's back to normal. It doesn't work that way. So, there's a lot more to this than we're being told. Again, we're never, ever going to be told the truth, guys. Ever going to be told the truth. And so, it's just, are you canning your vegetables from your garden this year? I do plan on canning some of them. I have been sharing some of them also, because that's what I like to do as well. But yes, I do plan on doing a lot of canning as well this year. There's a lot of other things. And I'll probably not going to show everything that I can, to be honest with you, just to kind of keep that. I don't need to show everything, but yeah, I do plan on doing a lot of canning. So, but there's other things too that I'm planning on working on. So there's going to be a lot of things going on. Like I said, just continue to get ready, be as prepared as you possibly can be. Again, don't be a victim. That's the biggest thing. How do I convince my family members to prep? Well, you know what, Jimmy John, the best way to do that, and I've talked about this a few times before, when you have family members that don't get prepping, you can correlate it with insurance. Ask them, do they have life insurance? Most people have life insurance. Why do you have life insurance? Just in case. In case I die, my family's taken care of, right? Why do you have car insurance other than the fact that if you don't have car insurance, they're going to arrest you and take away your car and go to jail? But why do you have car insurance? Just in case you get in an accident, you're covered for whatever damages and stuff like that, okay? Those are the things that you can use as examples to why they should prep.